blog, fullflourishing.com, where I like to talk about living a life of intentionality. And today I'm going to be sharing how our first week of homeschool went. I have two sons, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and we just completed our first week of Homeschool Preschool and Tot School, and it was so fun. And so I wanted to maybe take you on a tour of what our homeschool room looks like right now, what we have on our shelves, what our decor looks like, and yeah, just kind of give you like a quick recap. I've been having some people asking me questions about how it went, so I just thought I'd do a video. And so if you are interested in seeing how our first week of Homeschool Preschool and Tot School went, then just keep on watching. First, I'm going to just take you on like a quick little tour of the room. So what I did about 2 weeks prior to actually starting homeschool, we were doing lots of things to prepare for homeschool, instilling habits and routines, and so it was a pretty smooth transition. And I didn't try to do like everything that I want to do in homeschool at once. We just did pieces of it, and so there weren't any meltdowns. We really had a great time. But I did take everything out of the schoolroom. So in the house, they had the train set, they had construction vehicles, and they had a basket of balls, and that was it. And occasionally we would bring up like some building blocks or just different things that we had if we needed to bring something new up. But for the most part, we didn't have too many toys out. First of all, it was driving me crazy. Second of all, they weren't respecting the materials that were in this room, and this room had kind of become a playroom, which is not what it was meant to be. So anyways, I took absolutely everything out of this room, except I did leave the nature shelf intact for the most part. So what I'm going to do is take you on a tour, and I'll kind of talk while I take you on that tour, and then I will come back and share yeah, what worked and what didn't work and how we're going to make changes. So here we go. So here's kind of an overview of what the room looks like now. I did change some things up from the last time, and I actually finally got pictures in those frames like yesterday. Finally, I made it happen. Walgreens was having a 40% off their photos, so I did that. So as you can see, there's a lot of blank shelving. So all of the shelving is blank except for one thing. Where's my finger? Right there. Except for one thing up there that we didn't want Jericho to be able to get to. He's the 1-year-old. And then that shelf is completely blank. So let me show you, I guess, over here. So this is Jericho's Tot School shelf. And to be frank, I just kind of, I don't want to say threw some things together, but I just kind of put some things together quickly for him and didn't spend as much time thinking of like certain specific activities that he would like, because I really just needed to focus on getting some habits done with Samson with the preschool. So Daddy did a lot of the Tot School stuff with Jericho this week because he doesn't go into work first thing in the morning, and so he was able to do some things with Jericho. But down here is a box of books. Anyways, so down here we just have some puzzles. So I was thinking of like the pincer grasp for this puzzle, and I was just gonna see kind of if he was interested in it, and he was, but interestingly enough, he was more interested in a more difficult puzzle that's on Samson's shelf. And then just had some little activities. These are lids and jars. He used to be really interested in that when we traveled this summer, he was, but he's kind of over it. Like, he does it and then he's done. So on top here, I used to have this tray on our nature shelf over here, but Jericho gets into it a lot and will strew things throughout the house and doesn't respect it yet. I mean, he's only 14 months. And he wants to explore it. And then sometimes there's really tiny pieces, like all these acorns that we don't mind him exploring, but I want him to do it in my presence because he still likes to put things in his mouth. So this is just like a little easel, and I just, since we are doing exploring nature with children and it's the week of seeds, I kind of decorated with some squirrel decor. This is our mailbox, so we write letters or cards once a week, and it has some markers and colored pencils and different stationery and cards that Samson and Jericho can choose from, and it has our address book. So anyways, here's some of our things that we collected this week. We come over here to this shelf. It's a little more cluttered than I would like, but on top. But right there, that stuff is are some things that Daddy took and did with Jericho. And then these are my lesson plans, and those are just some extra materials. But this is Samson's main work shelf. And so what I did is I started on Monday, and on Monday all we had on this shelf were those two items. This is a balance beam, and then this is this basket's so cute, and I just love the way it feels, but I got that from the Target Dollar Spot a couple months ago. But these are some like connecting blocks, but we just used them for like balancing and kind of letting him explore that. And that was the only thing that was on the shelf on Monday, in addition to, I guess, this puzzle down here, which is what Jericho loved. And then the next day I introduced these story cards, and it's just the story of the three bears, and we tell the story and put them in order. It's sequencing. And then the following day I introduced this right here. This is a tray from IKEA. I introduced this, it's like a bean, like sequencing from a bean seed to a bean plant. And then here's a couple of like vehicle puzzles, 3-part puzzles, but Samson really likes them because then he thought it was super magical that you can flip them over, and they have pictures on the underside. And then these are some picture cards that I had, and I need to laminate them, but what we did is like cow and cat match. So we did sound games with it, so like cow, cat. We would lay, I think we did 4 on the ground, and then I would hand him a card at a time and he would match. And so we just added a little bit each day, and I would introduce the material to him. And this week was really more about showing him how to use the materials properly and taking care of the materials, respecting the materials. So I would demonstrate. I'd say, may I show you something? And I would demonstrate, and then he now has them on a shelf for him to use. So here's our nature shelf, and I just have some decorations. Sometimes I hang posters up here, but there's squirrels and leaves right now. This right here is the art study that we're doing that was suggested in Exploring Nature with Children. And I found this newspaper clipping that happened to be about squirrels and how they were stealing people's sunflowers out of their front yard. So I put that on his shelf for him to explore. And then this book that we went through several times. This little nature basket I did change up a little bit. It has his binoculars. These are test tubes for collecting. This one actually has like a cicada shell. A little book for drawing if he like. Sometimes he likes to do that. And then some guides and some color paddles. He really likes using those. And this is just on a like picture holder from Hobby Lobby. Behind here I have like our big books that we use this week, and then here are his themed books. We have so many book boxes throughout the house and we use them all, but this one is specifically about seeds this week. Excuse me. So that's really it. I guess I'll come over here. So I'm thinking, I don't know if this will be our math shelf or a language shelf. I mean, right now this is a language kind of activity, a pre-writing activity. So this tray, this is just cardboard, and these are shapes. And I found these oversized push pins at Hobby Lobby, and you just trace the shape with the push pin, and then you can see, it makes a cool design. This is Mama's. So with this activity, it was really interesting to see what Samson isn't interested in. He was not interested in following along the lines. He wasn't interested in even punching on these turquoise cards. He wanted to punch on the cardboard and like see how it comes through. So this activity did not get used like it was meant to be used, and I'm reevaluating that. But we did get this table. We got this from Walmart right when like college was coming in. We usually take a trip to IKEA once a year because it's about 2.5 hours away, but we didn't get to go this year, so I just opted for getting this cheaper, lightweight table at Walmart. I think it was like $18 perhaps. And then these stools, I've been looking for kind of like stools that are comfortable, durable, not ugly, and easy for the kids to use. I didn't just want back chairs. I wanted it to be things that are easy for the toddlers to use and get on. So I'm really pleased with these stools. I got them 30% off on Target when they were having like a home sale just this last week. And then I was able to do another 15% off and then my 5% red card. So really like them. They're good for us to use too. So that is our updated tour. So this week what I did is I would kind of write just very quick like outline of what I was going to do for the day, make notes about, you know, what happened, and it just helps for us to see our progress. Sometimes you feel like, well, what did we even do today, or you forget, or it's just really good to be able to reflect. And then I wrote down a section last night. It was Friday night, and I just took like 20 minutes and I wrote down my thoughts about the week and what I learned and what I might do differently. So I was just my notes for the week. And so what I'm going to do is leave all of these items on the shelf this week, since I have shown Samson how to use the materials. And then next week, as we are learning about new things and I start putting more stuff on the shelves, I may begin to take some of this seed stuff away. I will change up the nature shelf, so Sunday night I'll put on the new artwork and the new book and all that kind of thing, and the new books in the basket. I'm gonna change up Jericho's shelf. He is done. Like, he's not using any of the things on his shelf. He's only using the puzzle that's on Samson's shelf. So I need to totally reevaluate Jericho's area. Yeah, so I hope that you found that interesting and maybe even helpful. And yeah, we just had a really fun time. I'm going to link some videos below. I have my homeschool schoolroom tour from the spring that I'll link below, and I have some other videos I've made. I made a video about how I prepared for our first week of homeschool. I'll link that below. So if you want to check out the resource box below, or the notes box below, then I'll put a lot of resources and links that you can maybe check out some other things. So thanks for joining me, and if you will be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate it. It helps other people find my videos more. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Bye!